just a minute before I let everyone, get the notification. Um, just a little, I'll go over this real quick. The reason why I haven't, been going live, for the past, week was because, I got a, which I can't say the word, right? Because YouTube is weird of how to do things, right? But I got a timeout, so to speak, for a little bit, so I had to, watch what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? It's actually been quite a while, man, since I, got one last time. I believe it's been probably, let's not say at least a year, a good year, since I got, last got a timeout. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. But, you know, I can't let that, hold you back, for lack of better words. But anyway, of course, I, gonna start off with saying Shalom. Of course, all praise, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. And one thing I want to, may I say, comment on is I was looking at the comment board, before I hit the live button. I was just reading a couple comments on there, and you got a lot of guys on there, man. One guy was talking about how that he's like Old Testament only, right? And that's weird, man. You have a lot of guys out here that we're seeing who are or what appears to be, Old Testament only, as in they don't subscribe, to the New Testament. Which is weird, because if you ask them, like, why exactly, do you not, subscribe, to the New Testament? You ask them that, and they don't really know. And that's true. You don't ask them. Ask them, well, why do you yourself not subscribe to the New Testament? And they'll tell you that they really don't know. They just don't believe that it's inspired, is what they say. Which, I mean, that's easy to cut, man. All you got to do is go to what is that? Isaiah the 7th chapter, Isaiah the 9th chapter, Isaiah the 53rd chapter, where all those, but you can read them, where all of those clearly refute their arguments. All right, because in those chapters I mentioned, they make references to who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, which, as we know, is named Yahweh Shai. Okay, but those chapters I mentioned, they bear testament to him, right? Those are written before he came on the scene, so therefore we know that that the New Testament is inspired, because the main character of the New Testament is spoken about in the Old Testament. So that gives the authenticity to it, just off of that. And again, I'll quote it again: Isaiah 7, Isaiah 9, Isaiah 53. Right, read those chapters and tell me who that's talking about. In those handful of precepts. And then another one, as guys were on the comment board, which is this is usual. We usually talk about this subject. But they were on the comment board saying that that you can eat whatever you want today, which is totally not true, man. Okay, that's totally incorrect. But that's what these, churches out here, that's what they've done, man. All right, is they've, broke down the, the interpretation, of the, of the precepts. They broke it down the wrong way, man. So that's why you got all these guys going around, believing that, that sweet Jesus, went on the cross, for them to willfully, sin, right? That Christ went on the cross so that now they can, willfully, eat swine's flesh today. That's not true, man. Or they got this idiot on the comic board, which he didn't even have a name. He was just like a letter sign. Guy could have been a damn troll. I don't know though, because his comments actually sound like it was an intelligent person that was behind writing them, not a computer. So he was trying to say something along the lines of, well, what Christ spoke about, that you're supposed to disobey, the commandments that the Lord gave in the Old Testament. So then I ask him, it's like, okay, let's go by that for a minute. What rules did Christ say to disobey? Right, that's a real question. What laws of the Old Testament did Christ teach against? And I'll repeat that. That's a real question because I haven't seen any. Okay, and I've read the Bible twice. Okay, so I haven't seen a place where Christ deliberately taught, to go against the commandments in the Old Testament. I haven't seen it. Now, there's an argument out there to try to bring up, what is that? John 8th chapter. If the woman that was, taken in adultery, and they'll use that, to form an argument and say, well, according to the, the law in Deuteronomy, it says if a woman, lays with a man, it's not her husband, that's supposed to be, a sin unto death. So why did, Christ let her go? So see, that shows that Christ, spoke about, disobeying the commandments in the Old Testament. And that's not true. That's false, because if you pay attention to the chapter, what did Christ, tell the woman? He told her to go and sin no more. He told her to not commit this action again, is what he told her. All right, because the next time that they find out, that she did that, well, that's going to be her ass, man. And rightfully so, because that's the law. Okay? The scriptures clearly tell you if a woman lays with another man, it's not her husband, and she's supposed to be stoned. That's what the law says. Okay? So, Christ decided to show the woman compassion. He didn't have to do that, but in that scenario, excuse background noise, but in that scenario, that's what he decided to do. Just read, what is that? You go to Romans, want to say 9 and verse 15, right? Romans chapter 9 and verse 15. It says the Lord will have compassion on who he decides to have compassion, and will show mercy to who he decides to show mercy. Okay? So, in the context of, John 8th chapter, the Christ, just showed the woman, compassion. He didn't have to do that. Okay, but that's what he decided to do. Okay, and the shalom to everyone tuning in. Shalom, Awakened Pennsylvania, if you're still there. I see you in the chat. But this goes back to these guys are talking about that Christ said to disobey, the writings of the Old Testament, right? The laws in the Old Testament. That's not true, right? That is certainly, not true. Okay, and again, I'm still waiting for someone to show me an example. Then what they'll do is they'll bring up, what is that, Matthew 15? It's not that what goes in the mouth that defiles a man, but that which comes out. And they'll use that to say, we'll see what Christ said, you can eat whatever you want today. Or you can eat, lobster, crawfish, rabbit, all these, unlawful foods. They'll be on there saying you can eat it today, right? Because Christ said that you can. That's what the argument, is. But the way you cut that is by just reading in context. You go up to verse 2, and it tells you that the entire, conversation was based around a question they asked Christ. They asked him, is it, why do your followers, right, why do your apostles, eat food without washing their hands? That's what the whole question was about. So then Christ responded and was saying that, it's not that what goes in the mouth that defiles the man, but that what comes out. And he was referring to, eating without washing your hands. Okay, he wasn't talking about, that it's okay to eat whatever you want. Okay, that's not what he was talking about. This is why I said, man, that a lot of these guys, they're misrepresenting the scriptures. They're misrepresenting what it says, to fit their agenda. I'll give an example, right? John 3:16. We all know that one by heart. But what does that mean, though? Even though it says the word world in there, does that actually mean it means like the entire world? And the answer to that would be no. Why can I say that? Because if you go to, Isaiah, 45, verse 17, it tells you that that Israel is a world of its own. Okay, so the world that Christ was referring to the children of Israel. Okay, and then even Christ said, if you read what is that, John 17:9, Christ even said, I don't pray for the world, but rather I pray for the ones that the Most High has given me out of the world. Right, but he said that he doesn't pray for the world, man. So you got to ask the question, if what these Christians are saying, is true, well, why did Christ say that he didn't, die for the world? Or that he didn't pray for the world? And the answer is very simple. Because the world in John 3:16 is talking about the children of Israel. It's not talking about the entire, world that we walk on right now. That's not what it's talking about. Okay? And that's why I said, man, you got many guys out here who are, totally being led astray, man. But you got a lot of guys out here that are totally, being, misled, man. And that's, definitely unfortunate. But as I said before, man, somebody has to be, the 2/3, right? Somebody has to be on the Lord's, left-hand side, man. Hey, we can't all be on the Lord's, good list, right? We can't all be on the Most High's good list, man. Some people have to be on the bad list. You know what I'm saying? And that's, just the way it is. That's just the way, that we have to, that's how we got to keep things, man. Right? It's called keeping it real, right? Keeping it 100. Shalom to King Manny in the comments section. He said, "Where's the mind of golf at?" The mind of golf is I don't know where the hell he's at right now, man. Probably coming up with another, sequence video if I was to take a guess. Just messing with you. Which anybody can't really join anyway, because I'm streaming from YouTube. I'm not streaming from StreamYard. So, excuse me. So from YouTube, you can't bring anyone else on the platform. It's only you on here. So even if it was here, I couldn't let him on anyway. But if I had to take a guess where he's at, I'd say he's probably, looking up a new sequence, video. And it's like, well, wait a second. If you guys remember, what did he say, 4 months ago? He said that, the Mind of Golf said that Christ was going to return before January 1st, 2022. I mean, well, hey, look, we're only, a handful of days away from January 1st, man. So, hey, look, I told you, man. I told you. Hey, look, ETT told you first, okay, that what he told you wasn't going to happen. Right? I told you that, right? I said that his prediction was not going to happen because according to the scriptures, it clearly tells you that the Christ only returns after the tribulation of those days, not before, not in the middle. It says after. Matthew 24:29. And then if you go to the same chapter, go to verse 21 and 22, it says that there's going to be great tribulation, such was not seen in any other time. But then it said, but for the elect's sake, those days, they will be shortened. So the reason I'm bringing that up is it proves that the elect are going to be on earth when that takes place, because it said that for the elect's sake, those days would be shortened. So if they weren't on earth during that time period, well, how the hell would the days be shortened for their sake if they're not even there? That don't make no sense. You ask him that question, and he'll just tell you, oh, well, it doesn't mean that. It's not. It means something else. That's all they'll really tell you. So as I said, man, because I know a lot of guys out there, we're, chugging that, nonsense down, man. Just taking that in and believing it. You know what I'm saying? But, now we're finding out what they said, was not true, man. And not only him, right? Which he admitted that he could be wrong. So, I mean, I'll give him, credit on that, because, a lot of people, they're not able to come to the conclusion that they could be wrong. Right, so I'll give him credit on that. Right, at least he's, man enough to accept that possibility. Right, so that's respectable. But, these Christians, in fact, I did a lesson on it. It's not uploaded right now. We had somebody come on the comment section, and they were telling me that there's a good chance, that the rapture could happen, before, Christmas, right? Or it could happen tonight. And I told them, that's certainly not correct, because the scriptures clearly tell you that the only time that the rapture is going to take place is after the tribulation of those days, not before, not in the middle, but after. And that's what it says. Okay, so as I said, man, now you gotta be careful who you listen to out here, man. And that's even in the scriptures. Scriptures tell you that many deceivers have went out into the world, man. Okay, right, many people went out into the world, with a, may I use the word, half-assed doctrine, for lack of better words, man. That's where a lot of guys went out into the world, right? They took, parts of the truth, and then, collaborated them, into their own doctrine. And I'll give a great example of that. Look at, what's this group? Look at, One Body in Yahushai. Right, look at them. They're out there teaching certain things that's correct. But then they made a statement and said that, that the chariots of God are not UFOs. Or they said that the chariots of the Most High are not UFOs. And that's clearly going off. Right? That's clearly going way the hell off to say that they're not UFOs, man. Because we know what they are, according to the scriptures. Okay, and bear with me. If I'm breathing a little heavy, it's pretty cold out here, so excuse that. Going back to what I was saying, man, that group's a good example. Okay, they're out there teaching some truths, but then there's some lies being mixed in as well. Okay, so you have to be able to discern, between, what part is true and what part is a lie, man. You have to, have that, may I use the word spirit of discernment, man. Or the scriptures, speak of you, don't just believe every spirit, that comes unto you, confessing, the Christ. Okay, because there's many, false, people that went out into the world. Like, I'll give it another example. So we've had these guys on the show a handful of times. The, the tried and refined, right? Tried and refined, which they're a great, they're a break off of the GMS Chicago camp, right? They used to be GMS Chicago, like 5 years ago. And I remember, watching their live streams. I remember watching the GMS Chicago page. I remember that. They used to do great breakdowns, man. But look at those guys nowadays. Those guys are out there, now. They totally, played that Uno reverse card, man. They totally, flipped it all around. Quite literally, by the way. Right, what are they out there talking about? They're out there saying that, give me a second. They're out there telling you that, that the Vatican City is, Babylon the Great. Out there telling you that, there's no reincarnation, in the scriptures. They're out there telling you that, there's no missiles in the Bible. They're out there telling you that, hell, man, you could go on, for an hour, about, what these guys are going off on, out here, man. But I bring them up, just for an example, how you don't want to be, man. Right? Use these guys as an example of what not to be, in this thing of ours, man. Right? So here, and they don't believe that UFOs are even real. They believe that they're like, like a government, creation. They're to deceive people. Hell, they don't even believe that, going back to the missiles, they'll say they're not even in the scriptures, but then they'll also say that, that they're not even real in real life. So, that's a double whammy, man. Right? And it's sad because if you go on there, and they got, a lot of people tuning in, man, when they're doing a live stream. Sometimes they got 20 people tuning in. And then often, when they do streams on the main channel, we'll have a full lobby, when people in the back chat, waiting to join in. Or they'll have 10 people on at one time, and 15 more, watching. And then a couple more, in the back chat, waiting to tune in when they get their turn. That shows you, man, that there's a lot of guys out here, trying to, just trying to deceive the masses, man. right? Say, hey, look, we're not going to do that though, right? We'll give you, the raw and unedited, truth, right? That's what we'll do, right? Me, Bible Defender, even Great Millstone, you got to give them credit. Okay, with GMS, they'll come at it like it is, man. I'm not going to water it down, and as I said, I don't have anything disrespectful, or hateful, to say about Great Millstone. As I said, I've always, give the elders and the apostles, much respect, because I did learn, a lot of what I know, from them. So the scriptures even tell you to give the elders who rule well, double honors. I believe that's in the book of First Peter, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, well, that's in the scriptures, because guys always say, well, why you guys, give double honors to man? It's like, well, wait, that's in the scriptures. Give double honor to the elders who rule well. As I said, I believe that's First Peter. Someone could put that in the comment section if you got it. But going back to what I was saying, man, is hell, it's going to be, 2022 in just a couple of days here, man. And Lord willing, this will be, the year when the Lord really starts to kick this thing off, man. Okay, I remember, it feels like yesterday that it just turned, 2020, man. It just feels like yesterday that it turned 2020, and here we are, 2 years later, man. That's hard to believe. How fast the time goes, man. It's hard to believe, how fast the your time really goes. That tells you. Oh wait, that goes back to the scriptures. The scriptures tell you that those days will be cut short, because if the Lord didn't, shorten time, no flesh could be saved. Right, so the Lord is going to shorten the time, man. Bear with me for a second. All right, but going back to what I was saying, man. As we're definitely in some serious times here, man. We're not in the time, to be playing games right now, man. You see how a lot of guys are, with this, with this thing of ours, man. Guys are just, just playing games, not taking this thing seriously, man. You go to some guys' pages, man, and they're, not even, they'll go a month without uploading. So, as I said, man, those of us in the know, which are what? Those of us that come around here, that we're in the know. All right, we know, what to expect next, man. All right, we know, what to be looking out for. I'll give an example. When we see those, them UFOs in the sky, man, we're not going to be out here, bugging out like these other guys out in the world, man. Saying, oh, that's aliens, right? That's aliens, coming to take over the world. Or Christians be like, oh, well, that's, Satan and his angels, trying to deceive the masses. We know that's not true. Okay, we know that those UFOs, actually, the Christ, and his angels on them, man. Okay, so we're in the know. Okay, so therefore, we're not going to be, caught off guard, when these things happen. Okay, we're not going to be, taken by surprise, when these things, finally, start to reveal themselves, right? Unlike everyone else, out here in the world, man. And that goes back to the scriptures, because it tells you that, that the deception is going to be so great that if it were possible, they would have even deceived, the very elect, man. And that's a scary thing, man. It's a scary thing because we know, right? Those of us in the know, which there ain't many of us, for damn sure, man. But a few of us that come around here, we know that who's behind the deception, right? Who is behind the deception? Let's see if anyone on the comment board knows the answer to that question. And you all should know that answer. Right. The Most High is behind the deception. Right? The Most High is behind the deceptions in the world, man. Bear with me for a second. Just gotta cross the street real quick. Right, we're going back to what I said, man. Okay. So now we know that, we gotta have the fear of the Most High, man. Okay, because we know that the Lord's behind all the deception, right? We know that the Lord is behind, all of these things, man. Like Job 12:16, with him is strength and wisdom, the deceived and the deceiver are his. 2 Thessalonians 2:11, the Lord shall send them a strong delusion that they should believe a lie. Right. So, you better make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, man. You don't want to get caught off guard in that day, man. Hey, look, some guys are going to get, just to be sarcastic, some guys are going to be, caught off guard with their pants down, for lack of better words. That's why the scriptures tell you, I believe, what is that, Revelation, the 16th chapter? It says to, walk circumspectly, but meaning be diligent in your walk. Lest you walk naked and everyone see your shame. And I'm merely paraphrasing it. And what does it mean by walking naked? That means not literally, walking around with nothing on. But rather, it means, not having, this knowledge, man. Right? Because, a lot of guys, a lot of guys, come into this thing. And, and for whatever reason it might be, they're going to get, sidetracked, into the, the ways of this world, man. Okay, whatever reason that might be. And it tells you that in, Matthew, the 13th chapter. There's been some men who were, called into this thing of ours, man. Then for whatever reason, they got called back into the world. Right, whether it be, persecution, for having part, in this, in this ministry, or whether it been, the riches of this world, or whether it been, fame, whatever it is, man. A lot of guys were, taken out of this thing, man. Okay, so, you just want to use them as an example how not to be, man. That's why Christ said, not everybody, who says to me, Lord, Lord, is going to enter into the kingdom. Right, so on that day, just read, what is that, Matthew, the 25th chapter. You start at verse 31 on down. It says that, in that day, and I'm merely paraphrasing it, but in that day, people are going to be judged of how they acted in the world. But if they, fed the homeless, clothed the homeless, visited them who were in prison, and were careful, towards those in need, they're going to be judged off of those things, man. And if you read the chapter, it mentions that, some people, they have faith in the Lord, but they weren't doing those things. Okay, they weren't, helping those who were in need. So guess what? That cost them their salvation, man. Okay, so you want to be doing what you're doing. Make sure you're doing whatever it is, right, man. Okay, because you're the Most High, Yahweh. He ain't playing games, man. Like the Most High ain't playing, games with people anymore, man. Scriptures tell you in what is that? Second Ezra's 16th chapter says that the Lord's gonna beat people to powder, man. Okay, so the Lord isn't playing games. Someone asked, why am I walking in the dark? Well, the reason why is because I'm taking a walk and it's dark out. That's the reason why. You can hear me, so if you got a question, you ask. Oh, and that's the guy I talked about 40 minutes ago. Well, about 40 minutes ago. That's the guy who said that, that basically, Christ isn't, true or something like that. That Christ spoke about, breaking the laws of the Old Testament. So, I mean, now that he's on there, you tell us, where is that at? And then Ridge asked, have you heard from Rock lately? I've tried to reach out to Rock upon him. I've tried to call him multiple times over the last 12 months. And he doesn't answer the phone. I tried to message him. Once in a while, he responded to me on our private messaging app. Okay, once in a while he responded to me on there. But the last time he did was like 9 months ago. So I try to contact him. He don't respond. I don't know what's up with him. I don't know. As I said, man, he pretty much, I hate to say it, but he's pretty much, done in this thing, man. Like the Lord sifted that guy. He went back into the world, man. That's a scary thing, because I know him in real life, man. Right? Scriptures speak about, what is that? Luke 9:60. What is that? Luke chapter 9, verse 62. Any man that looks back, takes his hand from the plow, meaning this truth. It says that he's not, fit for the kingdom of the Most High, man. So guess what? Going by that scripture, Rock upon him, man. He needs to, he better check himself, man. Okay, Rock upon him better, he better take this thing seriously, man. That's gonna be his ass there, man. Right, as I said, the Lord ain't playing games, man. With all the stuff going on in the world, Rock's just sitting there playing, what is that? I was on there just playing, what's that game? Resident Evil? Right, with everything going on in the world. He could be doing lessons about that, but he's on there playing video games all day. It just shows you, man. Oh, and that shows you that, guess what? I myself, I didn't take breaks, right? I never, turned from this thing, right? I never took my hand, off the plow, right? I never turned my back, on this, man. Okay, I've never turned my back, on this truth. Okay, I've always, to the best of my ability, done what I could do. Okay, and I will always do that, to the best of my ability. And it ain't easy, man. And I know about Luke, with Shalom to Brother Luke in the comment section, that he told me, which I won't get into his business on here because that's, his, but I'll just mention that. He told me about, that he was having some problems, in his family, and it had to do, somewhat with this truth, and I feel him for that, man. But that just shows that we're on the right path, because Yahweh Shai, he told us, man, that in this knowledge, right, a man's foes will be they of his own household. That's what Christ said. That's not what I'm saying. That's what Christ said. Then he also said, if any man comes after me, if he can't put his family members before me, right? If any man comes after me, he can't put his children before me, nor his mother and father. Okay, even his own life, also it says. Okay, that shows how serious this thing is, man. Okay, you can't let, anyone, get between you, and doing the work, man. You can't let no one get in the way of that. And anyone who does, you gotta cut ties with them, man. Okay, and that's just what Christ said. That's not what I'm saying. That's what Christ said. And if anyone don't agree, they better, go read the scriptures. That's what it says. Someone asked me, let me just read a couple comments real quick. Someone said, me, you, and the loving Christian are the most underrated truthers of all time. Yeah, and I can comment on that because me, you, and which the guy who said me, that's Ridge, right? So Ridge, I myself, and the loving Christian. We've all been going at it for years, teaching online, man. I want to say, at least 5 years that I've known the two. They've been around. Loving Christian has been around longer than I have. So I don't know how long he's been there, but, Ridge, me and him, we've known each other for a good 5 years. Someone asked, do I know what a Christian is? Well, the word Christian means a Christ follower. That's what the word Christian means. So I'm not sure what you're trying to get at, man. All right, that's what the word means, is a follower of Christ. That's what a Christian means. That's what the word means. So that answers your question. Which I'm not going to go for too much longer. I'm gonna wrap this up in a handful of minutes here. Someone said Christianity is religion based on the life and teachings of Christ. Yeah, you're right on that. But what did Christ? But Christ taught the laws of the Old Testament. Because I think he's trying to get at, but you guys go off of what Christ said, not the Old Testament. But here's the problem with that. The problem is that Christ taught the Old Testament, though. And you're not getting around that. Just read, so if what you're saying is true, right? Well, what about, what is that? Matthew 5:17. Christ said, think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I come to fulfill. And it says, if any man shall teach anyone to disobey the very least of these commandments, he's going to be the least in the kingdom. So my question to you is, what commandments is he talking about? What law is he talking about? The law he's talking about is the law from the Old Testament. Okay, that's the laws that Christ came to teach. Okay, and I was talking about this before you even came on, so you can go back and listen. Okay, but there's plenty of places where I can clearly demonstrate that Christ spoke about keeping the laws of the Old Testament. Bear with me for a second. So again, if you're gonna tell me that's not true, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to prove it, man. You can't just come around here and make statements. You have to prove what you're gonna say. So if you're gonna tell me that Christ is false, you need to prove that to me. Because off of my study and research, I can conclude that who the world calls Christ, what we call Yahushai, I can conclude that he was, the Son of the Most High, man. Right, off of what I've read, in the scriptures, I can conclude that Christ, is the Son of the Most High, right? The Messiah, who people call Christ, truly was the Son of God, man, off of the scriptures. As a matter of fact, whoever made that statement, this guy in the comment section, he's actually an antichrist, because it tells you in, what is that, 1 John 2:18? Tells you that anyone who does not confess that the Christ is the Son of God, he is a deceiver and an antichrist. So this guy in the chat who's denying the Christ, he's a deceiver and an antichrist, according to the Bible. Hey, look, next time I do a stream on StreamYard, click that link, come on the show, and let's have a friendly chat about it. All right, I'll reason with you. I'll listen to your argument, and we'll reason together. Okay, but I don't see where he can sit there and say that that Christ isn't the Messiah. I can't see where he's getting that from. Okay, but as I said, we can reason together. Call into the next stream on StreamYard, and we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna close up in a couple minutes here. I'll answer the last handful of comments that are coming in. Let me see. Reg, we already went over that, man. About eating pork. King Manny said, LOP is somewhere ice skating and falling over on his ass. Yeah, that's true. LOP is cool, man. Or LOP is cool, but yeah, he's out there ice skating right now somewhere. Yeah, I seen that ice skating video that he put on his page. I seen that. I know what you're talking about. It's true. Let me see. This guy said, he said not to break the laws, but he breaks the laws. Well, I'm going to ask you this. Where in the scriptures did Christ break the laws of the old covenant? Or, excuse me, not the old covenant, because we're still under the old covenant. I meant to say the Old Testament, excuse me. So where in the scriptures did Christ break the laws of the Old Testament? I really want to see that. Where does it say that? Because I haven't seen that. And again, you can't use John the 8th chapter, because Christ said to her, go and sin no more. He told her, don't do this again. That's what Christ told her. So you can't use that. What are your thoughts about what is that, Romans 9:15? The Lord will have mercy on who he decides to have mercy. The Lord will show compassion to who he decides to show compassion to. Okay, so all the arguments you're going to make are easily refutable. Because guess what? Even though certain people break the laws, the Lord can decide to just show them compassion, even though they went against the commandments. And I'll give a great example. King David, he committed adultery, right? He slept with another man's wife. That's a sin unto death according to the scriptures. But did the Lord punish David for that? And the answer is he punished him in a different way by taking the life of the child he had with that woman. However, the law says that the man himself is supposed to be put to death for committing adultery. So the Lord didn't put David to death for his action. And that was in the Old Testament. So according to this guy's logic, that you must then agree that the Most High broke his own laws then. So I mean, you got yourself, backed into a corner there, man. That's all I'm going to say. Nobody, hey, hold on. Nobody block anybody. All right, so I know that that Luke has a wrench. Don't block anybody. Everybody's welcome to freely chat on the comment board. Right, nobody needs to get blocked. Right, the chat board is a free zone for for freedom of speech, right? Unlike mind of God, if you make a statement that goes against his sequence, he'll block your ass, right? I'm not like that though. If you make a statement I don't like, that's cool. You're welcome to say that. Over here, I allow, freedom of speech on the comment board. Why? Because I like to, it's good to interact with the comments. The only time I ever, block somebody, so to speak, if they're on there, making, death threats, to me or someone else, that's when you get blocked. But if you're just, having a friendly disagreement or a friendly chat or whatever, they're definitely welcome to do that. Okay, so just to put that out there, nobody, gets blocked on the comment board. Everyone's welcome to freely chat. Let's see. Let me just see real quick. Someone said God's okay with eating pork. That's not true. That's not true. And you, as I said, you can't go to Matthew 15 because the whole context of the chapter, read verse 2, the whole context was eating with unclean hands. So that's why I said you guys err at not knowing the precepts. The guys who are on there saying that you can eat whatever the hell you want. That's not true, according to the scriptures. Which I'm going to close out in a minute. I'm not going to go for too much longer. It's just getting cold out here. All right, well, hey, look, man. All I'm going to tell you for this guy, what is it? His name is? Hey, look, man. Next time I'm live, click the link, and you can come on, and we can have a friendly discussion on the matter. If you don't want to do that, I don't know what the hell else to tell you, man. All right? Just like Reg, if you want to come on and have a friendly discussion about, that it's okay to eat pork, we'll let you on and we'll have a friendly chat about it. You're welcome to come on and we can have a friendly discussion, on the matter. Okay, but I mean, hey, if the guy ain't willing to come on, then I don't know what else to tell him, That's all. Let me see. Let me see real quick. Well, Christ did confirm that because that's what he was responding to. That's the question he was responding to in that particular chapter. So as I said, he just errs in not knowing the precepts. And that's hey, it is what it is, man. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. All right, that's all I'm gonna say on that. But anyway, I hope that video was edifying, and I'm gonna say shalom. Oh, and real quick, Reg, if you go to what is it, Acts the 10th chapter, because you brought up Peter's vision. Go to Acts chapter 10 and go to verse 28. Right, go to verse 28, and it tells you that the vision that he's seen was referring to eating. It was referring to calling men common or unclean. Read it, verse 28. It gives the interpretation of what he's seen. So it wasn't literal. It wasn't literally talking about eating what he wants. Because it just read verse 28. It literally tells you that it was referring to humans. It says that I shall not call any man common or unclean. So the unclean animals he's seen was symbolic for people. And again, if you think I'm lying, just read verse 28. That's what it tells you. All right. So this is why I said, man, guys, try to come and argue and sound deep. but then they really don't know what the hell is going on. And that's what it is, let me see. Let's see. All right. Well, I think I'm going to call that the show there. I hope those that are fine. If anybody made this far into the video, to the end of the stream, go ahead and put hashtag, let's say unclean foods, right? Hashtag unclean foods in the comment section, just to see if anybody made it this far into the video after it's been re-uploaded. But anyway, I'm going to say shalom.